What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new video on Prize Picks. Today I got plays for NFL Monday. So we got a banger Monday Night Football game today. It's the Eagles taking on the Packers. Packers are at home in this one. And we're going to talk about all the plays that we need to get into. But first up, do me a solid, drop a like on this video, and do yourself a solid and join our free Discord. So this Discord is where we post open chat. Basically, you can talk about whatever you want. A lot of people talk about fantasy football, and I also post a ton of free picks in there. And then there's also the VIP stuff as well. It's a very simple Discord, not too hard to understand, and it's the first link in the description. So once you guys click that link, your phone is going to look like this, and the first link will be BAM Community. This is where I post my fantasy plays and my fantasy advice and my free picks, right? So make sure you guys are joining there. Discord server, completely free to join. And now let's talk about the day that we just had yesterday. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull up the NFL page right there. My camera just died for some reason, but this is exactly the plays that we took. So looking back at this, it's actually insane how many of these we cashed, because we took Patriots on the money line and then we parlayed that with the with the Seahawks on the money line. Seahawks on the money line was the freest play out there. That was my 5-unit play for the VIP. They ended up winning by 22 points. I mean, we just have to talk about this game. The Seahawks were so dominant in this one, and they didn't even need to score at the end. Like, it was so free, the Seahawks money line. Hopefully you guys put money on that, because that was literally free money. There was no way the Cardinals were going to come back there. There's no way the Cardinals were going to win, starting from the beginning, right? So that was our 5-unit play, and we also parlayed that with Patriots money line. Thank God Drake May came through for us at the end. Lions Commanders on the over was another one of our plays. That was a 3-unit play. Greened that one out. And the only play that we actually ended up missing was this one. We took Saints Panthers on the over, and that one did not hit. That was a very slow moving game. So a ton of games and a ton of great spots for it. I also told you guys to take the live money line on the Colts. So this is one that I send out to the VIP only. Live money lines is what you can take on Kalshi and other apps like that, where it's just great value. Right here, we took the Colts on the live money line. It was in the fourth quarter, soon after the Falcons had just got a 3-and-out. The Colts were looking way better. On the live money line, we took them. They were around 50 or 45%, depending on where you got it. And then we greened that out at the end of the day. They came through for us in overtime. Shout out to you if you had Jonathan Taylor in fantasy football, because he popped off 50 points, I think, what he's dropped in some leagues. Absolutely nuts. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the Eagles taking on the Packers in Lambeau. So let's go ahead and talk about it right here. Number one, Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith's line is heavily, I want to say that again, Devontae Smith's line is heavily inflated because of the insane performance he had here against the Vikings a few weeks ago, right? Obviously, he hasn't played in a few weeks since then, but if we just go ahead and check out this exact metric, right? Eagles on the passing yards are 24th in the NFL, right? So they're a bottom 8 passing offense, only averaging 192 passing yards a game. And the Packers are one of the top 11 defenses in football. They're allowing 197 passing yards per game, right? So there's not very many passing yards to go around, because the Eagles can't pass the ball very well, and the Packers are very staunch against the pass. That being said, the Packers are pretty much staunch in every defensive category, right? The only one that the Eagles have them in is red zone efficiency. So if and when the Eagles get to the red zone, they will end up scoring more likely than not. 85% of the time is absolutely nuts. And we all know why that is. It's because of Jalen Hurts and the tush push. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the passing yards efficiency. We know the Eagles don't like to pass the ball. We know they're not very good at passing the ball. And the Packers, one important thing about them is that they really play a ton of too high shell. They really just try to keep everything in front of them, which means they are not susceptible to deep plays. Devontae Smith, that's how he gets his plays, right? Unless he's the number one guy on the team, where right now, obviously, A.J. Brown is not injured. A.J. Brown is active for this game. Devontae Smith plays more of a wideout role, where he just bombs down the sideline and tries to attack teams through the deep threat, right? And the Packers are not very susceptible to that, right? They are pretty good defending against the deep ball, and that's exactly why Devontae Smith on the under right here at 59.5 is a great play. He could still have 50 yards and a touchdown and 3 or 4 catches and have a great day and still hit the under, right? That's exactly what you got to be thinking about when you look at this line. He basically has to pop a big pass in this one in order to hit the over, and we're just saying that's not going to happen against a great Packers defense. Before I get into my next couple plays, make sure you guys are hopping on all of these apps. So if you guys get on Sleeper, Chalkboard, and Underdog with code BAM, not only are they going to give you a bonus $200, I'm going to break it down. So Underdog, you put in $10, you play $5 and they give you $100 just like that. Chalkboard's giving you, pretty sure it's a 100% deposit match up to $100. So another free 100 right there. And then Sleeper is giving you a free $20 entry when you sign up. So it's just 20, but you don't have to deposit at all. All these other apps, you got to deposit. It's literally a $10 deposit, so it doesn't matter. Honestly, I prefer this. Depositing 10 and getting $100 is nuts. But they only get all those promo offers when you sign up with code BAM. So make sure you guys are signing up with code BAM. Sleeper, Chalkboard, Underdog, all of these states for Underdog, and all these states for Sleeper and Chalkboard. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the next play of the day, which is going to be on the other side of the ball. We're taking Jordan Love on the under here for the longest rush. So right here, if we see what we're looking at, rushing yards, Jordan Love and the Packers have a high total right here, but a lot of this is obviously because of Josh Jacobs just being such a great runner. And I think that's a main reason why we're also targeting this play. Because Josh Jacobs is such a strong runner, and even their backup running backs, Emmanuel Wilson, is very, very good in his own right. I love that. If he can get a starting role somewhere, I think he's going to pop off. But that's a conversation for another day, right? Because their running backs are so strong, Jordan Love not going to need to go over this line, right? Why does the quarterback usually run the ball? It's third down and they need to get the first. That is more likely than not why the quarterback runs, right? You don't really see a quarterback running the ball on first down and second down. It's almost always on third down. And if there is a fourth down scenario, then, right? Especially a quarterback like Jordan Love, who's more of a pocket passer, right? Jalen Hurts, I bet you he can run on first, second, third, fourth, fifth down, right? It doesn't matter. But Jordan Love right here on the under on the longest rush is exactly the perfect play because he's only hit this one time, which was against the Washington Commanders. And if we look at the last few weeks, he literally rushed 1 yard against Carolina, right? Look at this, 7 against Cincinnati, and people call them one of the worst defenses in the NFL because they are. This is exactly what you guys got to think about. When a good offense is playing up against a bad defense, where are they going to go? They're going to go to their star quarterback to pass the ball, right? Jordan Love's going to pass the ball to Dobbs, to Watson, to Matthew Golden's a speedster for him. I'm pretty sure he's still active for this game. I need to double check that. I know he was dealing with an injury, but they're also going to go to Josh Jacobs. They're also going to go to Emmanuel Wilson. Jordan Love on the rushing yards is like the 10th option down there. And even if he does, tuck the ball and run a little bit, he's likely not hitting this line. I'll show you guys his rushing yards total right here, if I can find it. His rushing yards total is 10.5, and he has hit this in several games. He's hit this, the over at 10.5. But what he hasn't hit is the longest rush at 7.5, right? So longest rush at 7.5 is a great play for us. That's exactly what we're taking on the next one. But now I just want to go ahead and talk about the game, just like the full game overall. And if I can go ahead and find this right here. Let me see if I can find this. Right. So yeah, the full game overall, this is a great thing to talk about because as of right now, I'm recording this on Sunday night, right? Chargers Steelers is going on right now. That game's an absolute snooze fest. I hope they put better Sunday games on. But anyways, right now, Green Bay is minus 104 on the money line and Philadelphia is plus 105, right? This is a very even game. Basically, you can't predict where it's going to go, right? The over is at 45.5, and this is the play that I like the most, right? Straight from a sportsbook play. The play that I like the most is going to be the Packers on the money line, right? And I expected a lot of sharp money to be on the Packers too, and that's a good thing. You want your money to be where the sharp money is, right? You don't really want to be where the public is. The public and the sharp usually don't bet on the same side, and you really don't want to be on the public side. You want to be on the sharper side more often than not. So why are the public going to be fading the Packers right here? Because they just lost to the Carolina Panthers at home. Public are going to see that, and they're going to fade the heck out of the Packers because the Packers looked terrible. How could a team that loses to Bryce Young, who then loses to Tyler Shuck and the Saints, how could that team go and beat the reigning champions in the Eagles? That's exactly what, the common mind thinks. That's exactly what most people are thinking. Those people that are watching that are putting quite a bit of money on the game because there's so many of them, and they're not watching videos like this exactly explaining why we're taking what we're taking. They're just betting based on their heart, based on their mind, right? They're not using statistics. Anyways, we're taking Packers on the money line because of exactly this statistic right here. Eagles on the offense. Their only good category is red zone efficiency. They are terrible at converting third downs. That means that that's kind of a skewed stat, honestly, because oftentimes they don't convert the third down because they're setting up to convert the fourth down on a touch push. But there's so much stuff here to not like for the Eagles, right? One good thing is they don't turn the ball over very much. Packers don't really force very many turnovers, right? But when it comes to the sacks, I'll show you guys. Eagles on the offense, they take quite a few sacks, right? Packers on the defense, they get quite a few sacks. QB hits, 4th. QB hurries, 7th. I expect Jalen Hurts to be under quite a bit of pressure in this game, and they can't pass the ball. They can't really run the ball. Saquon's not been great, and they especially can't lean on their running game against a team like the Packers. That is exactly what the Eagles need to do if they want to win on this game. And just look at last season when they had their best success ever in any game this season that they've had success. It's because they've been able to turn and lean on their running game when needed, right? Right now, they're facing against the 3rd best rushing defense in the entire NFL, and they have to play at Lambeau, right? This is not a good spot for them whatsoever. So, and that's just talking about the Eagles on the offensive side. Now, if we put Packers on the offensive side, they're a top 11 offense in terms of scoring, convert quite a few 3rd downs. They're a very good passing defense. Eagles are not a very good at passing, or they're very good at passing offense, Eagles are not a very good passing defense. 3rd down conversion, 2nd in the NFL, and they are 4th worst in the NFL. So every single statistic is pointing to the Packers being the better team. And if we look last year when these teams played, it was an absolute shootout. That was the one in Brazil to start the season. But that was almost over a year and a half ago at this point, right? It is a completely different game with completely different teams. And the main story of the game is that this Eagles O-line is nothing compared to what it was last season, right? The Eagles O-line has massively changed in terms of how good they are. They're significantly worse. And the people that are struggling because of that, number 1, Saquon Barkley. Number 2, Jalen Hurts, right? Jalen Hurts, when it comes to getting sacked, he's struggling with that O-line not being as good. They were literally spoiled by just having a stone wall of an O-line there every single game last season. And why do we think Saquon almost broke the record or whatever the heck it was? I think did he break one of the records? I'm forgetting now. He was definitely in the conversation to break a record. I can't remember if he did it or not. Actually, I do remember now. He didn't break the record because he sat the last game. But yeah, why was Saquon so dominant last season? Well, it's because they're O-line. And now, not only is the O-line weaker, but they got Micah Parsons on that D-line. They got Micah Parsons. I'm going to say that one more time. They've got Micah Parsons on that D-line. And Micah Parsons, some would argue, isn't even the best player that D-line has. It's crazy to say. Sean Gary's been great, right? And their linebackers, Quay Walker, absolutely amazing. There are so many things to love about this Green Bay Packers defense, especially when it comes to defending the run. So I think the Packers are going to hold up the running game. They're going to force the Eagles. If you want to beat us, you got to beat us through passing, right? Jalen Hurts, you're a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Sure, beat us with your air yards, right? Throw a couple passes on us, see what happens. And the Packers absolutely love when the Eagles are going to try to throw the ball because we know the Eagles are not competent enough to throw the ball on this Packers team. Packers on the money line, absolutely love this play. I take Packers on the spread. On an alt spread, I think you can make quite a bit of money taking Packers on the spread. So, of course, take Packers on the money line. There you go. And then throw a little bit of money on this play. Throw a little money on Packers minus 2.5. Taking the win by a field goal. Throw a little bit of money on Packers minus 6.5. That's a plus 245 play right there. If they win by a touchdown, you're greening out big, right? So that's exactly what you got to do. You got to play the odds and play it right with your system, right? But the most of your bet, the majority on the money line, and then take a little bit on the spread, and then take a little bit on an even longer spread. But yeah, that's all I got for the video. Only got one game today, but let's make the most of it. Let's make some money on NFL Monday.